Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, we've got another Gun Gripe episode for you. All right, this one's a doozy. We're going to be diving into the media slander machine. It's a chugging along and sending out black soot and all kinds of things. So, you know, it's really important to discuss this, I believe. And obviously, we're going to discuss some recent events that have come to light. There's sort of a media cabal that exists, right? And it is a political / media cabal that's out there. And I think it goes without saying that the censorship has ran rampant. And not only the censorship, but the sort of, suppression of dissenting voices that don't fit the narrative that they're trying to push. And we've seen a slow and gradual decline of journalism. And when you think media, you think journalism. You think that, okay, someone takes a certain idea and they go, all right, we're going to take this idea and we're going to present the facts and we're going to allow the reader to determine how they feel about a given subject based on X, Y, Z, right? That's what journalism is. You allow the reader to determine their own view based on, you present the facts in across party lines and across political lines, you present the facts in an honest and straightforward manner, and then people develop their own opinions based on what they see. That's what common sense tells you, right? When it comes to developing your own opinion, doing your own research, being a free thinker. That's what journalism used to be about. Now it seems, I'm not going to name any specific names, but we're going to present some situations, okay, where there's been some definite slandering going on in the media, and it hurts people, and they do this purposely to try to make a certain side look bad and to make Trump look bad. There's definitely a lot of that going on out there, so we'll share a little bit of that information and see what you guys think about it.
Yeah, the biggest thing, like Eric's mentioned with journalism in this country is more or less dead because there's not very many journalists out there that can just have a level-headed approach to the stories that they're covering. Everything is always one-sided. I mean, you have conservative websites. I mean, like the Daily Wire is one of the largest conservative outlets. You got Breitbart News, Fox News, which is supposed to be kind of conservative, but then you have all the liberal websites, which greatly outnumber the conservative and like libertarian pages. Nothing can just be like middle of the road anymore, and you cover topics from both sides. If there's corruption in the government, well, where's the corruption stemming from? Is it from the liberal side or is it from the conservative side? Well, who reports that? Do each side attacks each other all the time? There's no just truthful journalism anymore when it comes to getting your information. Either by the way of a newspaper or online, which the online newspapers and stuff, I see it so many times these days where you'll see like edited at the bottom, like they'll break the story, but then they get new information. And it's like, it's actually the facts that they missed when they broke the story. But the story's already out there. It's already been viewed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of times. And leave it up to social media, the social media armies, to go and just destroy people over things that may or may not be factually true. All right, so the main example we were using in this video here was Nicholas Sandmann, okay, the Covington Catholic student that was awarded a very large settlement by CNN, was the most recent one. This is the second settlement out of a large case that's been put out over all these different media outlets that either spread false information, they defamed and slandered this boy, okay, who is now 18. He's now a man in the eyes of society. And they got away with it, they thought. Okay, but slander is a real thing. It's happened to us. So that's another, talking point in this video as well. But people think that they can just get away with hiding behind their computers and their iPhones and the internet and saying egregious things against people, and there not being any consequence for it. Libel and slander are real things, okay? I mean, whether you say something about somebody that isn't true and you're just out to defame them, or if you're writing something about someone, you can't do that. You can't legally do that, but it's morally objectionable as well. I mean, very, very. It's just wrong. Morally wrong.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is slander is not a victimless crime.
Oh, gotcha.
And, you know, if you write a hit piece, if you're trying to destroy somebody, and especially if the things that you're putting out are not true, then that's definitely an issue. So, you know, the large number, $250 million. I mean, we're getting at Dr. Evil, $1 million. So $250 million, and that was paid out by Washington Post. And that was the day he turned 18. So I guess it had something to do with him being an adult versus not. So that goes to show their readiness to pay out the damages. Tells you right there they knew they were in the wrong. And they knew they were in the wrong from the beginning because they published the piece. It's not like, and we're not talking something where maybe something was taken off color or someone said something that maybe could be taken a different way or something like that. We're talking literally a published piece that says in black and white, this is what's going on. Now, you know, we've definitely been the victims of slander more than one time. We're not going to go into details of that because it's not important right at this very moment. We don't want to add fuel there because we want them to be ignorant to what they've done for now.
No.
But the situation is that the issue is the way that not only the media, I guess really the media, but even the government too, right? As we sit here today, there is a congressional hearing related to antitrust laws, related to monopolies, related to all these things. And they've got the CEOs of some of the largest social media companies right now under fire in a congressional hearing right now as we speak.
Yeah, by the time this video is published, the hearing will have been done. And this is Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple CEOs testify before House Judiciary Antitrust Subcommittee.
Right.
And if you guys aren't aware, okay, let me just give you a brief thing on antitrust, okay? So,
yeah, the antitrust laws in the U.S. are a little weird compared to some other places, but
all right, so
give you a synopsis.
Antitrust. In the United States, antitrust law is a collection of federal and state government laws that regulates the conduct and organization of business corporations, generally to promote competition for the benefit of consumers. So it's not just tangible, consumable items, it's also information. Antitrust laws cover information as well. And when you have companies like Facebook, okay, who have a virtual monopoly on information that gets spread across the internet and into people's homes and into people's minds, that's a problem, especially when they start censoring people that they may not agree with based on their political leanings. This has been a problem ongoing for many, many years.
It's really been a problem with Twitter. Twitter
Absolutely.
is under fire big time right now for censoring tons of voices that dissent from the given narrative. I mean, it's not an unknown thing that Twitter is a very left-leaning organization. And look, I'm not saying that a company can't have a certain political goal or a political ideal, or that they can't, you know, think a certain way. I mean, we're all free to think the way we want.
They have to play fair, though.
But the issue is, and what the issue has been over the course of a very long time now, you look at the stuff with Prager University, you know, Dennis Prager, and you look at all of these different lawsuits that have been put forth about, you know, that essentially relate to censorship and antitrust and all of those sorts of things, okay? The idea is, are they an open platform or are they a publisher? A publisher, such as a news rag or whatever, they have the ability to have editorial control over the content that they put out on their website. But as a result, because they're a publisher, they don't get certain like tax benefits, and there's lots of certain little things that they don't get benefits for. An open platform gets a certain amount of tax relief, a certain amount of government aid, in some cases, you know, very lenient rules in terms of how they can operate. But the crux of that is, by being an open platform, they're supposed to be truly open and no censorship and no editorial control over the overall message that's being put out. So an example would be, let's say, for instance, algorithmic damning, okay? When we look at that, let's say, all right, if you watched an Iraq Veteran 8888 video, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, before all of this really started coming out big time, basically before Trump, all right? Back during the Obama administration. Sorry, I'm coffeeed up, all right? During the Obama administration, if you watched an Iraq Veteran video, there's a strong possibility that over in the sidebar, you would see all kinds of related videos. You'd see a video from Hickok or Cotley on the Ore, or Tim from Military Arms Channel, or Mike at Mr. Guns and Gear. You would see all these related videos related to that particular video. So now it's like these algorithms are completely squashed. I've got people that are saying, oh, we can't even find your content anymore. Or, oh, I'm not getting email notifications when you post a new video, right? So they keep changing the rules and changing the algorithms in a way that doesn't benefit me and that they know doesn't benefit me, but they won't tell me what the rules are. So I can, accordingly shift our metadata, our tags, our descriptions, all of those things that go into what make a YouTube video, right? Mm-hmm. Everything from a catchy thumbnail to the way you write the title, to the metadata, to what's in the description box, the tags, descriptions, all those things determine how that video is crawled. So if they see the word gun, if they see the word conservative, if they see the word Trump, whatever, they probably have a giant hit list of words that, you get popped and you get shadow banned. So this shadow banning, I've seen it happen with Facebook with us. I've seen it happen with Instagram. I've had several posts removed from Instagram just for no reason. No reason given and no way to appeal it. Now, YouTube, I will say, has been a little bit more kind to us. We have had some direct contact with YouTube here and there on a few issues, and I actually must say they've been very kind and professional, and they've actually been very helpful in terms of working with us when we might have a question or an issue about policy. So YouTube, out of all of the social media platforms and as a video hosting platform, YouTube has actually been relatively good in that regard.
For the most part. There's still some weird things going on with like the gold coin in the videos that you hear about. I mean, it's just there's no rhyme or reason to some of the decision making that happens there. It's like just your video gets processed by some little computer. It's like bad. Good.
There is certainly some algorithmic girth that is giving to content that they prefer, and that pushes the narrative they want to push.
Puppies
and then there is a certain amount of algorithmic, deflating that occurs against content that they don't agree with the message. So they're not completely saying, "Oh, we're just going to kick you off a platform," because that would send home the message that we all feel is in the back of their minds, is that they know they can't just kick you off the platform, because if they do, it reaffirms what everybody already knows they want to happen.
And it goes against YouTube's mission statement, which is a platform of openness for everyone, you know?
Which we totally agree with.
But the big thing with like YouTube and Facebook, for example, with the algorithms, they can shunt your growth, your reach. We've been hovering right around like 850,000 followers on Facebook for years now.
Years.
It never moves up.
Dude.
It never moves. It just sort of hovers. And it was before that, it was like, and then somebody pushed a button.
Yes.
And like Facebook said, these guys are getting too big.
Yes.
And you do see it on YouTube a good bit. I saw just the other day that one of Tactical Toolbox's videos, it was a video on like the top 10 mistakes that people make when assembling ARs or something along those lines.
Parts mistakes, like choosing bad parts.
It had been blowing up because so many people now, they can't find ARs, but they can find parts, so they're building their own rifles, in this pandemic, this crisis, this crazy time that we live in here in 2020. And that video was gaining a lot of traction. And then they pushed a button and said, hey, this violates our sex and nudity policy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how does a person cannot sit there by the computer and watch that video and say, yeah, this violates our sex and nudity policy? No, that is an algorithmic damning of that video. But anyways, you see that kind of crap all the time, and it's with videos that are trending, that are gaining a good bit of ground because they don't want that kind of information out there. That crap happens all the time.
Well, I did talk to Jonathan, and YouTube reviewed it and reinstated the video, so they were able to do it. But it did take a stink. It took a Twitter stink.
Yeah, but see, that stuff happens on a regular basis. We had one of the most popular reloading videos that we filmed, and it was on a Martini Henry, reloading for the Martini Henry. But that video had like over 1 million views, and then it just got disappeared. 2 million views. 2 million views on how to reload an obsolete military black powder cartridge. And it was canned. I mean, without reason and no way to appeal it. But that kind of stuff happens. It's like teaching people how to be self-reliant is frowned upon with the social media giants.
Right.
I mean...
So, the giant question, and where this goes full circle with the whole slander thing, right? We look at what happened with the young man, which, look, I'm happy for him. I hope he lives a happy life and he gives back to his community and gives back to his people and does great things by people. And I know that young man will do great things with his life, and I have confidence that he will have, that blessing that's essentially been bestowed to him, that he'll use it to its fullest extent. I hope that he will, and I hope he lives happily.
Not without his name and his group being drugged through the mud for
Correct.
it.
So with the slander thing, okay, so censorship, can it be viewed as a slanderous action? And I believe that in a way, depending on how it's done, it most certainly can. And we're not going to go into like a ton of exact examples and details because I don't want to get too far into that rabbit hole. That would make this a much longer video than I'm sure you have time for.
Yeah.
But the issue would be that, the view of it is that, well, this person, okay, average person who is, let's just say, not political. Say that they don't think about left or right. They don't think about politics. They don't think about like the world view of the U.S. in terms of a world stage, right? They just simply get on the internet and they access Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever their favorite site is, and they just simply want to absorb and consume content. Okay, let's just say we're that person, right? And you're getting into that. What would your disposition be towards a person who had 20 million views on an algorithmically pumped video that was obviously given special treatment to get it to that level, versus how would you treat a video that would have gotten 1 million views but only got 60,000 views because there was algorithmic messing around, okay? I'm thinking of a word, but I can't say it. All right? And
We're just simple-minded.
I want to say it so bad.
We are simple-minded, Georgia.
I want to say it so bad, but I can't. But let's say that there's algorithmic playing around that's being done that causes that video that would have gotten 1 million views to only get 60,000 views. So Joe Blow, who's just looking at videos, what credibility is he going to attach to the view count that's really high versus the view count that's really low, when the one that's low should have been higher but was purposely made not higher through the use of shadow banning and things like that? So that's how and in a way, it makes your validity look like it's not as high or as good or positive as it really is. So is that in of itself a slanderous action? Because they're saying, well, your voice, your opinion, your audience, your message that you're trying to spread is irrelevant. Therefore, we're going to purposely put this down in an attempt to make it look like either A, not as many people are following you as they really are. B, we're not going to allow the access of that information to the people that we know follow you, right? A subscriber number is a number, like the people are subscribed to you. Right? Or C, this liberal site with 100,000 subscribers, they're getting 10 million views on their video because we're algorithmically injecting a lot of support into that content.
That's been the big argument is, are they selectively positioning content, these platforms, are they selectively positioning content based on that particular content creator's political views,
right,
and the overall tone of their content?
And are they selecting it to excel or fail based on that?
That's the big argument right now, and it's crazy world that we live in on social media.
It's ongoing as we speak. Right now, it's ongoing.
Yep. But back to the slander in the media thing. So with the media, okay, they'll jump into a topic that they may not well understand. Okay, and they'll just see a hot topic. I don't want to go into it, but like the whole Boogaloo thing. Okay, so when they see that, they want to pick and choose people who may have talked about it, and then they want to put them into the limelight as like some evil person because we're discussing what could be considered satire. So. Do they really understand gun owners? Does MSNBC or CBS or any of these organizations that are very liberal-minded, do they understand gun owners? Do they understand the Second Amendment as a whole, as a cultural aspect of living in this country? Do they understand what it means to have the power of being self-reliant and being able to have the tools at your disposal to defend yourself, your country, your countrymen from enemies, foreign and domestic.
Or
do they really understand that?
Or even value it.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Do they understand it? Do they value it? No, they don't. And
Right.
for them to come out and say things against gun owners or whatever the topic might be that they don't fully grasp, just because they want views, they want to engage the dumb masses, okay, in that particular concept and maybe educate them on it, but they are educating them in the wrong fashion. They are not giving them the facts. They are just painting a portrait, and they hope that people will believe it, because when the truth finally comes out and the facts are actually laid out, the damage will have already been done. And that's the problem with media slander, is that the damage is done, and then you have to come back and pick up the pieces and try to fit the puzzle back together, and then make people understand after the fact that, hey, this was all a big lie. I never said those things. I was taken out of context. The media does that all the time. They take people out of context and they use what they said in little bits and pieces to fit their narrative.
It's a what it also kind of really beckons to as well is it starts out as this just really like damning and evil headline. You know what I mean? Like they catch your attention with this one sentence that completely polarizes the rest of the article in a very negative way.
Hello, clickbait.
Whoever is following what that headline says, ain't no way in a million years, no matter how you feel about a given subject, there's no way that anyone is going to think that person's good. After reading that headline, they're going to be like, okay, whoever's there listed in this article has to be a utter piece of crap. Like they have to be the most horrible scum of the earth people on planet Earth, and they're going to take that as gospel because it's the media. They wouldn't lie. They wouldn't have a political narrative. They wouldn't push a narrative that could possibly damage someone's reputation just because they misunderstood. No, they know what they're saying. They just don't care. Who they hurt.
The media fully understands the nature of the general public to be judgmental and maybe prejudice, okay, as a whole, okay, to certain aspects of society. These companies, these big tech giants and these big media giants, they know what the majority of their supporters and their followers and stuff, they know where their political leanings and their feelings and their morals and their cultural aspects and things like that lie. So they focus on that kind of stuff. But people are so busy now, they're so quick to judge. People are so quick to judge without having all the facts at their disposal. They see a headline and they see a picture of somebody, and it could be the worst picture of that person ever painted, or it could be the best picture of them ever painted, depending on the circumstances. We've seen that too. Okay, you see criminals raised up in the media, and it's like, oh, he was just a good boy robbing that liquor store with a gun. He'd been arrested 20 times, but he was still a good child. Stuff like that. Okay, or you can degrade somebody. So the media knows how judgmental people are and how quickly we forget things. How quickly have y'all forgotten, Jeffrey Epstein and Pedogate and Ghislaine Maxwell and everything that's going on, Obamagate? How quickly have y'all forgotten that stuff that's going on in the background right now that's being covered up by the lamestream media?
Of course they're not going to talk about it because they don't want you, digging and knowing. So that's really what a lot of this comes down to. I mean, there are, I like Carlson Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that he just puts it out there and he bashes everybody, and I love it. I love that. Like, that's journalism.
Tucker Carlson.
Yes, I like Tucker.
Dyslexia is kicking in.
I'm sorry.
It's the coffee.
It's the coffee. It's the coffee.
Wait a minute.
But I like him. He's a cool guy, and I like the way he's just completely unabashed. And
these are the facts. Love them or hate them.
Love them or hate them. This is what it is. And the problem is what situation have we gotten ourselves into as a country when the media machine, as it sits, I'm not going to name specific, groups or whatever, but the media machine as a whole, what happens when that machine hates facts so much because they don't support a narrative they want to push? Well, being a journalist is not about pushing a narrative. Being a journalist is about discovering the facts, posing the question, discovering the facts, presenting it in a way that people can understand, and you can articulate it in a way that it is meaningful to your people that are reading. That's what makes a good journalist, right? When you read an article and you go, wow, this guy really did his research, okay? This guy's being fair. He's looking at both sides of the equation. And you know what? He's not patronizing me and making me feel like an idiot if I don't agree with some view that he, crocked up, right? He's letting me be my own person and think for myself. And the cream will always float to the top, and the facts will always set you free. The media hates facts so much that they've literally created an entire digital empire around misinformation. That is the scary part about it, okay? And it's not like it's some mysterious thing. Like, it's known. If you just start looking at the facts enough, you start to see, man, like, a lot of these people are full of crap. And, something that we really try to do, I'm going to let you guys get back to your day. I know this has been a long gripe, but one of the things we really try to do our best, I try to be fair, guys. I really, really do. I mean, it's not unknown. Like, if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or any other place where I post articles or photos or extra things like that, you should follow us for sure. Yeah, I trust me, it's not unknown how I feel about certain situations, right? But you can access that, and you can either agree or disagree if you want, but no one's forcing you to be there, right? But with the YouTube channel, we try really hard to be fair. I try to look at both sides of the coin. I really do, because it's worth mentioning the distinction that, yes, there are facets of the media that are a little bit more leaning towards right views versus left views. You know what I mean? And look, both sides are guilty of patronizing to their own individual echo chambers and not really caring about the middle ground of the issue at hand. It's worth mentioning that. That's not just a left or right thing. It's just the media in general. So, we try our best to present things that in a way that allow you guys to be big boys and girls and to look at the world the way you're going to look at it. You're going to develop your worldview based on the facts that we put out. We try our best to present the facts in the most honest way that we can.
Something that I think should be, it just kind of came to mind, but before I mention, you said the cream to the top. The cream floats to the top, and I can't help but have an image of Macho Man Randy Savage in my head. The cream floats to the top.
The cream of the crop.
People these days, that, especially young people, they are not taught by their parents, by their elders, by their school teachers in the public school system. They are not taught how to take facts and do research and think critically. Okay, critical thinking is a course. It's like in college. I think critical thinking should be a course that is put forth in middle school at a minimum age. Okay, you should be taught how to think critically from a very young age. Okay, in the public school system, but it's up to individual parents to teach their kids how to look at the facts of life and how to process all that information and have a reasonable reaction to it, not an emotional tirade. That's what happens with young people today. They don't agree with something. It's, wait, you're bad. I don't like you anymore. I'm going to talk about you on the internet, and I'm going to get all the big media giants behind me, and they're going to get you. They're going to get you hard. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's what happens.
You've practiced that.
Oh, I rehearsed it before we came in today.
You've done that before.
Oh, I have children, so I know all about it.
Oh, okay.
See, look, but that's the thing. People don't know how to think critically anymore.
Not only that.
Oh boy,
savvy. I feel like Jack Sparrow. All right. So the thing is, all right. Not only do they not know how to, process information and think, the struggle that breeds that doesn't exist. Our society is so pampered and so comfortable that oftentimes, I get it, right? We're living so good that the average person oftentimes doesn't have to actually engage in a real conflict with another person when it comes to an opposing view, right? And that's just because we live this pampered lifestyle. The greatness of our country, yes, we have the phone stuck in our face. The world is available on a supercomputer in our pocket. So it's very easy to get jaded by how great this country really is. And sometimes it's easy to just go, oh, well, I don't have to worry about this opposing view because it doesn't affect me, or it's not important to me, or I just simply don't have to engage in some real struggle, right? The art of conversation is dying in our culture because people have these things stuck in their faces all the time. It's easy to just talk crap about somebody on the internet. It's completely different when that person is standing in front of you and you have to be gifted in the art of conversation. Conversation and opposition and opposing views and having a argument is a civil distraction. It is a civil thing. You can have an argument with someone and still respect their views and have your own views and present the facts and come away from it and still be friends, right? Look at the presidential debate of Reagan, right? And look at how Reagan handled himself. That is a respectful and artful form of conversation. You shake hands, everyone's civil, and yes, those are your views. And wow, I totally understand where you're coming from there, but I see it from this perspective. There is an art to conversation. There is a verbal judo that our country is losing because it's being filtered through these. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
The next time you fire off some bullcrap at somebody on there.
And also, that bullcrap that you fire off at somebody, if it's very offensive, it's probably something you would never say to their face because back in the day, you would have got cold-cocked and knocked out for saying some of the things that people put out on social media these days.
And if you're a journalist,
I went to college,
and you rattle off some heinous article that slanders someone, you might want to be prepared that, the time's coming where, you're going to have to pay dearly for, what you've done to people. People have been conditioned to not have to deal with the ramifications of their actions.
They don't have to face the consequences. That is another problem that's fervent in society these days, the lack of consequences. And I always take it back to the home because that's where all of this mess starts. That's where all these spoiled brats are raised. Or I should say they're not raised, they're just existing in a home, okay? There are no consequences for their actions, for their attitudes, for their lack of respect. They take that out into the world and they realize, the world's a hard place. Well, they go through their 20s and their 30s, they get into their 40s, maybe mid-30s, and then they have a little mental renaissance and they realize, holy hell, I've been wrong all this time. I've been such a spoiled brat. And they realize what life is really about. And then they take that and they say, God, you kids are dumb. But then those kids are more stubborn than they were. It's just like this vicious cycle continues. But all this mess starts in the home. It does. It all starts in the home. And that's more prevalent today. And it's more factually based today than it ever has been in any point in history, that all these problems stem from the home.
Oh, and you have to think, too, that, we're literally sitting at what one could argue is certainly an apex of society, an apex of culture, an apex of reason, an apex of information and the transfer of said information. And at a point where we are literally at that apex, it's important that we utilize these social media aspects and we use our social skills. There's the word social in social media.
Yes.
We put the word social in there and we have these discussions and we hold these people accountable like we try to do all the time. I commit 1 million professional suicides a day in an effort to try to talk about what I feel is important. And, people may disagree, but that's okay. We can disagree. We may not agree with each other all the time, but I feel like it's important that you put the information out there and just try to be, honest and forthcoming.
So I'm going to say one last thing, and this is just kind of a little brain pop for you, okay? We as a world, not just a country or a group of people or whatever the case is, we as a total human population, we are more interconnected than we have ever been, but yet we are more distant than we've ever been as well. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I agree.
Okay? We are more interconnected than we've ever been, but yet we are more distant because everybody's dark little sides to their culture or their opinions or whatever the case is, it further separates people because you know more about that nowadays, and there's so much information out there that either could be true or it could be false.
And misinformation.
But we are definitely more distant than we've ever been, and those divisive tactics, they're not put out there blindly. They're put there for a reason by powers that we don't really understand. There are powers in this world that are controlling you, and you don't even realize it. On this social level, and you're basically just being controlled, and you don't even realize what's going on in your own little world. You're just a pawn, okay? And I'm no conspiracy theorist, but the older I get, the more I feel that way. That there are powers that be that want things to be a certain way, and they're gonna stick their little dirty fingers in there and try to spread people apart more and more and more, and the stuff that's going on right now is more evidence of that than you've ever seen. Anyways, I'm done.
Yeah, guys, look, stay tuned. Many more videos on the way. I hope that we maybe open some eyes and ears, and maybe you guys are listening to what we're saying, understand where we're coming from. We just want fair and objective reporting. We want journalism to make a comeback, real journalism, and I think that it's very important. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. All of you who purchased man cans, t-shirts over on Ballistic Ink, all that good jazz. Thank you so much for supporting our efforts. I know this was a long video. I appreciate you sticking around.
We always get off topic.
That's okay. This one I knew was kind of going to go in between like the slander and the censorship. So hopefully we sort of provided a paradigm between those two. And maybe you got a different opinion now, or maybe a reinforced some negative opinion. But anyway.
I still hate you guys
we still hate you. We hate you people. But anyway, have a great day. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you soon. Many more videos on the way.
Take care, guys.